Good afternoon, YouTube. Working on the 1968 Crestliner again today, specifically on the Mercury 35 horse 2-stroke that I found for this. I have already done a little bit on it, basically made sure that the starter did in fact work. Now my goal today is to work towards getting it running. I don't know if I'm actually going to be able to get it running today. We'll see what the carburetor looks like on the inside. Definitely going to be taking the carburetor off today to give it a good cleaning. I might need to order new gaskets and rubber bits for it before I can actually get this running. I still plan on fully rebuilding the carburetor, but when that happens will be determined by what I see once I get the carburetor off. Getting the carburetor off of this isn't too terribly difficult. It's a lot easier than I anticipated it would be. Basically, it's bolt, 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 which as you can see already loose from when I was messing with the starter. And then the carburetor is right back here. So I'm gonna start working on taking that apart. So while I'm taking this apart, give a little backstory on this motor. I found it for fairly cheap on Craigslist. The previous owner said that it fired when he sprayed starter fluid in it, but that is it. He had not water tested it yet, nor had he actually gotten it running. So it's a little bit of an unknown. I was okay with the price that I paid for it, knowing that it was a little bit of an unknown. Come on, there we go. But one thing that wasn't very clear to me when I bought it, because I couldn't take the cover off, is how much corrosion there actually is on this motor. I've already cleaned up a number of the electrical connections because of corrosion, and that was just in trying to get the starter running. But there's a lot of other things on here that are pretty severely corroded. I mean, it's not entirely seized, but I can't turn the motor for steering purposes. So that is a bit of a problem that I will have to remedy. I've been told / seen online that if you apply heat to the steering tube, that will loosen things up a bit, so hopefully that is actually the case. Okay, now it looks like it's a bolt and a bolt, and I have got some questions about this whole system. This is a remote steer motor, so obviously at some point there was something hooked up to this to operate the choke mechanism. It also has a manual choke right here, but I got no freaking clue what the heck is supposed to operate that. I don't even know if it works anymore. So I think I might just end up taking that off and using the manual choke. Oh, it is in such bad shape. I'm glad I sprayed this down the other day with some Triflow to start loosening things up, because this thing is so corroded. Of course it's an 11 mil. Where's my 11 mil wrench? There it is. Perfect. Ouch. I'll be back after I get this thing removed here. This is going to take a while. Definitely got into a little bit more than I bargained for with this engine. This stud is coming out instead of the nut coming off the stud, which means it probably has a lot farther to go before I actually get the thing out. So much corrosion all over everything here. And I'm to the point where I can barely get my wrench onto the nut head. And I'm only out, what, 4 threads? I'm moving maybe 2 teeth at a time because I don't have a set of ratcheting wrenches yet. I can't get the socket in here because of the design of the carburetor. And because of the tightness with this case. Oh, come on. Let's see if I can get this other bolt loosened up here. Oh, you gotta be freaking daggum kidding me. Who designed this? Good grief. Okay, this one's coming off the stud, which is good. There we go. What a stupid design. They put the bolt holes behind a bunch of stuff on the carburetor, making it really hard to get it off. All right, there's one nut off. Finally. I can slide the carburetor out, maybe? Or is there a third one underneath somewhere? No, there's not. Okay. There we go. All right. Back to 1/8 of a turn at a time. I wonder if I get a wobble socket. Haha, I'm onto something here, I think. There we go. Well, that would have been good to try before. It's not the first time the stud has been out of the motor. The threads are kind of gacked a little bit. Somebody's had this out before. I'm gonna see if I can get it back in though. Or I might just leave it. It's rusted, so it's not like that nut is going anywhere. Okay, let's see. This comes to here. All right, carburetor's off. Take a look at this a little bit better now in the light. Now you can't really see inside of there, but it's not clean in there. There's some, looks like there's, so I rub my nasty gloves in it. Looks like there's quite a bit of varnishing on the inside. Oh, nice. Look at that. Yeah, so looks like the bolt drain bolt is missing and carburetor drain bolt is still there. I'm not sure what this hole here is. That's just the return for the throttle plate. This fuel hose needs to be replaced. And I have no clue what this does. All right, I got a project on my hands. Here we go. All right, let's get this thing apart here. I don't get the design of that. That is really weird. So it goes there. This is the weirdest choke system I have ever seen on any small motor. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say we're going to get some new fuel hose for this all around. Ow. Oh yeah. that's disgusting. We're just gonna go ahead and, I don't have carb cleaner because my bottle ran out, so I'm gonna use a little bit of brake cleaner in there. No, you know what? I don't know what the heck that bolt's even for. Let's find out. This looks like it's just a vent jet. That should be fairly clean on the inside. This one is okay, this jet here. I say jet, it's just a vent of some sort that goes in the top of the fuel bowl. The needle valve appears to be missing a clip. So when the float comes up and hits this, it closes the needle valve, and there should be a little metal clip on it that pulls it back down. I think with fuel pressure that would automatically push it down, but I'm not sure on that. Just trying to do a general clean at the moment, and I'm going to put this all back together with the old rubber seals just to see if we can get this thing fired. After I got to pick up some new hose first though. I'm not going to put that old fuel line back on there. That doesn't make any sense. This stuff is nasty. Outside of this is actually cleaning up really well. Let's see what this fuel in here looks like. Oh yeah. It's all the varnish. Actually, a lot of the varnish just poured out. There's still some sitting in there though. Let's give it another squirt here. We'll just let that keep doing its thing. That is 10 kinds of gummed up. Full of varnish. Might actually behoove me just to go get a glass bowl and drop this whole thing in there. Alright, well, we're just going to call that clean. Might have to get a new carburetor for this anyways. I'm just kind of hosing everything off here. Gotten a lot of nasty out of this thing. Alright, so I'm going to run up to the store and grab some new fuel line and get some carburetor cleaner. That way I'm not just letting brake cleaner or using brake cleaner on this thing last. I don't even know if you're supposed to use brake cleaner in carburetors, but that's what I'm doing because that's what I had. So yeah, I'm going to run up to the store, grab that, and then we'll get this thing back on the motor, get some gas mixed up, and see if we can get this thing fired. Okay, back from the store. Got some gasket material and some new fuel line. and also got some actual legitimate carburetor cleaner. So I'm gonna run this through it really quick. Okay, that's all cleaned out. I've already made the gasket for one of the bolts. So that's going to go back on right there. This is a kind of a rubbery, papery material that the gaskets are, that I'm making gaskets out of. But it said it's fuel safe. So that's what I'm going with. For testing, that will work. Now that I have the carburetor reinstalled, I'm going to mix up some fuel, and dogs are going off, and then we're going to stick a socket on here with the drill just like we did with the Honda and see if we can't get this thing to fire up. Let's get to it. All right, I have got everything set up and ready to go. Fuel is mixed. Getting the sockets here to put on top of the motor. And that was great. Oh boy, I might have to hook the battery up and use the starter. Yeah. Okay, there we go, we got that working. Hey! Something happened. Haha. Yeah. We are getting somewhere. All right, check this out. Getting somewhere. All right, we know she runs. Haha. Open just a hair. Ha ha ha! I'm getting somewhere. All right, I am most definitely getting somewhere here. I'm going to give this just a hair more throttle. Looks like I might have a fuel leak at the carburetor. That's not good. but yeah, buddy. We're definitely getting somewhere. Yeah! Woo! I've got a really bad feeling that needs to be fixed though. All right, well, I'm going to call that a win. Motor runs, we know it now. Didn't run it for very long because I've got a lot of settings that I need to change on it in order to get everything running properly. But we know the motor runs, revs well, definitely needs the carburetor to be probably completely rebuilt. Might even just try to find a new carburetor for it. But I'm no longer afraid to sink a little bit of money into this engine because I know that it runs. So that's going to be it for today. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and there will definitely be some more on this boat build. I'm really excited about that. Peace.